yesterday's Shir spoke about the idea that the Peder gives us two ahavas. This Peder gives us two ahavas that are both tiviyisdik ahavas. Ahav from the neshama. Nafshi v'sicha b'layla, and the higher madrega is keben, the two madrega. And he goes into this whole thing that even though it's coming from the neshama and you're not creating it, nevertheless it's a real ahava, and you get credit for it, and it actually goes up to Elam Habriya because it happened through your own struggle, it happened through your own effort, through your own avodah. So even though the neshama is something that Hashem gave you, you didn't earn it, but since you're revealing your neshama through the hisbonenus, when you actually reveal the neshama, it's considered yours. And it goes to Atzmos himself. Remember that conversation, right? It goes to Elam Habriya, even though you're revealing only the neshama. So somebody mentioned at the end of the class yesterday, oh, it was you. So then who needs to have a Ava Salem? In other words, the human Ava, where you're not just revealing your neshama, where you're actually inventing the emotion through your own avodah. In fact, the Reb Shalom Ben HaKoyen. Ava, which comes from the neshama, is much deeper than Ava, which comes from the seichel. So why bother with Ava Salem? Go l'chatchila to the madrega of Ava Rabba. L'chatchila to the madrega of doing his bonus revealed in his neshama. Nafshi v'sicha balayla, and the higher madrega, of course, is keben de chopis, and so forth and so on. However, only the other side of the coin is also true. One must dwell with his mind. Lahasik, to reach, or lagian, to touch. Gam lebechinas ava elam. And now also the lower madrega of ava, which is a madrega of ava, where you're not doing his bonus to reveal the neshama, but you're actually doing his bonus to invent midas to believe your own emotions in the heart. Haba, which will come entirely from understanding and knowing the greatness of Hashem. Even though the ava that you could generate through his bonus is lower, and the ava that's generated from the neshama is higher, and it's considered yours, Chachafilu is coming from the neshama, because you're the one who evoked it. You want to have Ava Salem as well. Why? There's a number of points here. In order, to create a greater flame, a fire of love. Fire attached to a coal, and a storming flame, and a flame that's rising upwards. That the abundant waters of Elam Hazeh will not be able to extinguish this love. It should really be cannot flood out this love. I'm a little bit surprised that it says in Likutei Amarim chulu. He corrected, the Rebbe corrected. Asher Nikolai didn't correct. The Rebbe, instead of v'chulu, it should be v'game. What is he saying over here? A love that comes from the neshama is higher than a love that comes from the nature, from your own hisbonenus. But a love that you create your own hisbonenus is much more passionate. It's louder. It's more shtudendik, b'chitonius. And the Eibush doesn't only want a deep love; he wants a loud love. And he says, there is also an advantage and a step up. Lebechinas ava, to a love which is dafke kerish beish, like fiery coals. V'shalheva aza v'chuli, and a storming flame. And by the way, if you could tell me the difference in these 3 points, kerish beish, shalheva ava, la v'oila, haba mi'atvuna v'adas v'das saying baruch Hu, that comes from understanding and knowing the greatness of Hashem. Al shtei bechinas ava now, over the 2 levels of love we spoke about earlier, which are coming from the neshama. Kasher, because, or there is a possibility that einon kiddush be'esh shall have as a chol. They don't have the amount of external, demonstrative passion and fire. In other words, the Rebbe is saying there's a mile in love where you actually think about Hashem in a way that you create your own feelings of love, in terms of the chitzoniistic fire, as opposed to a love which comes from the neshama. Since it's natural, it's quieter. That's number 1. And number 2, he says there's another mile. And that is, I'm splitting this up into 1 and 2 myself. The first mile is the chitzoniistic passion, which has a very strong connection to the Yetzer Hara and to Maisa. And the second one is, he's going to mention in Tanya Perek Nun, as the advantage and step up of gold over silver, etc. It's going to be discussed in the future in chapter 50, Perek Nun. Alter Rebbe is going to bring you Ava Kirish Bayesh. You know what's Ava Kirish Bayesh? Ava Kirish Bayesh means you could develop a love for Hashem, which doesn't come from your neshama. You're creating and it comes from your seichel. And it's greater than any love which comes from the neshama. You know what the mashal for it is? In my Morim, it doesn't say in Tanya the mashal, but in Likutei Torah it says the mashal. Ish ve'isha, husband and wife. Fathers and children have a tiviistic love. They're one etzem. Why does the father love a child? Why does the child love a father? Because they're one and the same etzem. Correct? It's a yechida love. Ish v'isha is not a yechida love. It's an artificial love. Two strangers come together and they get married. Fact of the matter is, it can be even stronger than Ahavas Tivis. So in Tanya Perek Nun, we're going to have a chiddush nifla, where the Alter Rebbe is going to say that it's possible that a man-made love should go past natural love, but using gevura, not chesed. In the scheme of Ahava, which is mitzvah chesed, always a love which is in confidence in the neshama is going to be stronger than a love which comes from your own inventiveness, your own creativity, using your moich and your lev. But when you bring Zohav, which is Yira, Gevura, into Ahava, it's possible that man-made love should be actually higher and deeper and stronger than natural love. And the much, like I said, is Ish v'Ish. So the Alter Rebbe is saying two things. Number one, even though Ahavas Eilam is lower than Ahava, which comes from the neshama, it's more passionate, which is good. Number two, it could actually be stronger because of what the discussion we're going to have at Tanya Perek Nun, and then comes number three. There's a third reason why the Eibishter wants us to create midas, not from revealing on Neshama, but by creating new emotions. That's what we were created for. Now, Moedev Rabbi said this is the fourth Zekal Adam. Remember, I keep on telling you there's a fourth Zekal Adam. Where this is it? We had Zekal Adam Perek Yud Zayin. We had Zekal Adam Perek Lamed Gimel. We had Zekal Adam Perek Lamed Zayin. This is the fourth Zekal Adam. In Perek Yud Zayin, the Zekal Adam was it's all about action, as long as you control Yetzer Hara. The Zekal Perek Lamed Gimel was Dira B'Tachteinim through Limud HaTeirah and through Amunah. The Zekal Ha'ad Perek Lamed Zayin was Dira B'Tachteinim of Asiyas HaMitzvahs and being Mavarer the Nefesh HaBahamis and the Guf and Chelki Be'elam until the whole world. And the Zekal Ha'adam over here is a whole different Zekal Ha'adam. And what is that? Leman Das is Kvei Davaya. Hashem wants us to know the honor of Hashem, v'yikar, and the grandeur, the fetters of the beauty of Gudlosei, of His greatness. Each one, kefiyash yuchal se'ez, as much as he's capable of carrying. It says in Zayar Pashas Bey, and Ra'im Mehem, for those who do not know, is the Sefer HaMitzvahs LaZayar. Just like you have Sefer HaMitzvahs LaRambam, you have Sefer HaMitzvahs LaZayar. The Sefer HaMitzvahs in Zayar is Ra'im Mehem. There's also Ra'im Mehem, the Pashas Mishpatim, which is a Halariches. But the Derech Klal, the Ra'im Mehem, which is Moshe Rabbeinu's contribution in Zayar, is Taimi HaMitzvahs. So in Zayar, Pashas Boy, he speaks about the Inyan of Yidiyas Hashem, and he writes these words. Why did the Eibishter create the world? Begin the Yishtameid and Levachoda, we should know Hashem intellectually. Ukaneid, like it's discussed by Riches, and Chassidus, you have it in the first Maimon and Samach Vova, Bekama Mekemis. It's a whole nother reason. You know why you need Ahavas Eilam? A love which comes from learning about Hashem and creating your own feelings, because there's a mitzvah to learn about Hashem with your seichel. And when you're doing His bonus to reveal your natural love, nafshi v'sicha b'layla, and kibend chopis, it's lower. So for three reasons you have to have Ahavas Eilam. In other words, you've got two choices. A higher love which you're revealing your neshama, a lower love where you're creating the feelings through the Hisbonenus Mamish, called Ahavas Eilam, and you have to have the lower love, notwithstanding the malas of Ava, which comes from the neshama. Number one, it's more passionate. Number two, it's possible to exceed it. Mitzad malas of Ava Laketz, when you bring Gevura into the Ava, it can exceed it. And number three, because there's a separate Kavones Abriya that Yid should push it, learn and think about Hashem. And learning and thinking about Hashem is more in the Ahavas Eilam than in the Ahavas Tivis. You don't have to think so much about Hashem if, quote, all you're doing, end quote, is revealing the Pnimius and Neshama. You don't have to think so much because it's in the Neshama already. All you're doing is revealing it. As opposed to Ahavas Rabbah, where you're creating the Midah, this is much harder and requires much more limit. So even though Ahavas Rabbah or any Ahavas Tivis like Nafshi V'Sicha and Kibbur the Chopis is higher, for three reasons the Alter Rebbe says Ahavas Eilam. Isn't that a beautiful shtickle, Tanya?